If you're looking for more ways to make money during this time when prices on everything are just so high, then keep watching because I have 50 different ideas for you about how you can start bringing in more money for yourself and your family. Hello, I'm Sarah Edens. I'm a finance coach, author, and wealth mindset researcher. And here on my channel, we talk about finance skills and we talk about wealth mindset. And so if that interests you, then I would love it if you would come and subscribe to my channel. And I have a whole bunch of different playlists if you're new here, and feel free to browse all of my different playlists. I've got ones on budgeting, I have ones on beating inflation, which this is part of that series. I have so many different series if you're looking to learn about a specific topic. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. This has been such an exciting month as my channel has just been growing exponentially. And so thank you all for being part of that and being the people that are making that happen for me and getting my message out to more and more people and helping more and more people build their skills, build their wealth mindset, and unlock their inner millionaire. All right, so today we are talking about 50 different ways to start bringing in more money for yourself and your family, because with inflation being what it is, there's only so much money you can really save in any given category. And I'm going to be doing an entire series over the next few weeks about how to save in a lot of these areas that are costing quite a lot of money. But in the meantime, what I wanted to start with was ideas for making money. And of course, these aren't guarantees. So they may be something that is not necessarily going to work for you or work for your situation, but it's just brainstorming ideas. And I'd be really interested as well if you have other ideas about how to bring in additional money for yourself and your family that you're using that I haven't mentioned in this video. I would really appreciate it if you would drop that in the comments, and then we can all continue to learn and grow together. So, all right, let's get started. I have a long list, so let's get started and see how many of these resonate with you or are things that maybe you're already doing or have thought about but just haven't started. And the other thing I wanted to say too, while I was doing the research for this show, is remember, and this is really important, if you need money right away and you need some kind of a reliable, more income coming in for yourself and your family, I would highly recommend that you get a part-time job or a full-time job with another company that's established already versus trying to start your own business. Because as the owner of several failed small businesses over my lifetime so far, because I love entrepreneurship, it's my real passion along with personal finance. But I definitely tried a few different types of businesses before I got into finance coaching. And a lot of them, unfortunately, ended up being great ideas, but they just ended up costing me quite a bit of money instead of actually making me any. So while they were fun and I learned a lot about how to build a business and how to grow a business, I definitely did not make a lot of extra money, if any, during the time I was running those businesses. So I would really recommend that if you need money right away, just go work part-time for someone else that's already got a client base established and that is a way to already go ahead and salary you, because that is going to fix that problem immediately. If you have some time and some leeway in your family's financial life, then maybe consider doing some of these, because a lot of these are more entrepreneurial. And so they may take a little bit of time to grow your client base, or it might take a little time to learn the skills you need. So that's sort of a bit of a caveat, because I just want to make sure to be realistic about some of these ideas in terms of where you are right now and how much money you need coming in like now. So, all right, let's get started. So the first idea is freelance work. So websites like Upwork, Fiverr, and Freelancer offer a platform for professionals to find work in their field of expertise. And so that's a cool idea. And freelancing is something that is super popular right now. You can do it from anywhere in the world you happen to be, and all you need is an internet connection. And there's just so many opportunities for freelance. So that's a really cool idea. Number 2 is start a YouTube channel. So that's what I'm doing right here. I started this channel about 2 months ago as part of my business, and to be able to teach here on YouTube about personal finance. And I will say that there is definitely If you already have an Instagram account and you're working on Instagram with your business, if you're looking at transitioning to YouTube, keep your Instagram account as well, because they can kind of be partners. But that is a really good way to start continuing to build your brand, is by having a YouTube channel. And what you can do too is be able to really, with your YouTube channel, just be really realistic about how long it will take you to be able to generate income and revenue, because it will probably take a little bit of time to build your subscriber base to the point where Google will and YouTube will start to monetize your channel. And so again, that is one that you want to approach with a little bit of a long-term strategy, instead of thinking you're going to hop on YouTube and make 4 videos and all of a sudden, you'll be making money. But YouTube is an amazing, amazing opportunity. I have loved everything I've done so far with this channel. So that's a really good opportunity as well. And there's so many other content creators out there who have whole series of videos on how to start a YouTube channel, how to monetize on YouTube, how to monetize on Instagram, or with some of the other social media platforms like TikTok, podcasts, that kind of thing. And so definitely, if that's your area that you're interested in, check that out. Number 3, create and sell custom or restored furniture. So that can be something that if you like to go to estate sales or yard sales and refurbish things, that might be a good place to start, and then resell things that way. Write and sell an ebook is number 4. So this is another project that I'm super excited to be currently working on. And this is all, what the part about this that I'm familiar with is Kindle Direct Publishing through Amazon. And so they have a really great platform where you can take your draft of your book and upload it. You can have it on Kindle, you can have it on Kindle Unlimited, you can put your book in a paperback version, and there's other binding options. And then they'll give you a certain % back on the royalties of every book that you sell. So if you love to write in absolutely any genre out there, that is a really fantastic way to start getting self-published. And so if you're interested in that, that's a really great place to start. Number 5 is to sell handmade crafts. So if you're artistic and creative and you like making crafts and that kind of thing, then there's so many different venues to sell those on. Etsy probably being my favorite. I have bought so many things off of Etsy that I just love the last couple of years. You can also sell locally in your area. You can sell at craft fairs and art shows and all kinds of things. Boutiques sometimes carry locally made products. So there's a lot of different ways to market those kind of items, both, perhaps globally or in your local area. Number 6 is to start a Patreon account. So Patreon, if you're not familiar with it, I'll put a link to it in the description box, but Patreon lets you basically set up an account where you share content with your subscribers, and then they'll have a monthly fee, and then you teach about whatever it is that you teach about. So it might be teaching about fashion, personal finance, any topic that you can think of is pretty much on Patreon right now. And so that's a really cool platform that you can use as well to have start building your subscriber base, start building your fans, and then it gives you an opportunity to monetize that way. Number 7 is to become a virtual assistant. So this is really hot, and many businesses are looking for a virtual assistant, especially if you look at a lot of small business owners, because they're so busy. They have so much going on and they don't necessarily want to hire a full-time assistant, and they just need someone to do specific tasks for them. And so this is a really cool opportunity as well, and especially if you're living in a place where you don't have a lot in your particular job market, but want to get online and start offering your services to a broader, perhaps global market. And that is a really good opportunity as well to be able to look into becoming a virtual assistant that way and reach, be able to work with like interesting businesses basically from around the country and potentially around the world, depending on where you are. Number 8 is teach online. So there's websites like Coursera, Udemy, and Skillshare, and I'll link to those in the description as well. Those let you create your own courses and then be able to charge a fee for people to sign up for the courses and take those. And again, those are offered across the board in many different skills, languages, how-to type stuff. I mean, basically any discipline you can think of. They will have classes on there as well. And so that's a really interesting opportunity as well. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So that was teach online. Number 9 is to start a consulting business. And so if you have something that you are really good at and you're skilled in that area, then definitely look into starting a consulting business if that interests you, because you can basically have your own business and be the expert and then share your expertise with your clients. And that is a really interesting option as well. Now, I will say one thing is I had a consulting business before I was doing this. I was doing relocation consulting. And it is really important to make sure that figure out your target market first before you start a consulting company, because you want to make sure that there are people who will hire you and you haven't just set up this great company but you're in a niche that's maybe too specific and there's no one that's actually interested in hiring you. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at starting a consulting business. Number 10 is create and sell printables. So this could be anything from planners to wall art. And this is a really nice thing that you could look into doing. And I've even seen on Etsy where they will have whole shops with all these beautiful designs that you can download and print. And the nice thing about that is that you don't have the piece of having to ship stuff to the customer. And so you're very much able to just put it up online and then they download it from their end. And you're not necessarily having to worry about shipping, having to worry about things getting lost in the mail or damaged if it's something delicate or fragile, or having to fuss with all of that. It's just direct to the consumer and then they purchase that and take care of it from there. So that's a cool idea if you're a designer. Number 11 is to participate in market research studies. So that's a cool concept. Companies often are willing to pay for consumer opinions. Number 12 is to sell stock photos. So if you are all about photography and have some photography equipment, and stock photos are really big right now. I know I use Canva and they have a huge library of stock photos. And so that's a very popular thing right now that you can look at being a good photographer, if you're a good photographer already, look at selling your photos that way, or if you want to get some skills and try that. Number 13 is to develop an app or become a website designer. And I think app development is definitely a whole new, I don't know anything about app developing, but I have designed a couple of websites through Squarespace, and I'll put a link to that in the comments as well. Squarespace is who I host on, and I love them. I'm not a computer person at all. I'm not even, I know nothing about tech, but I've now designed 3 or 4 different websites for my businesses on Squarespace, and I can't recommend them highly enough. And a lot of people, especially if they're starting a small business, they don't necessarily want to fuss with the website design piece of that. And so that is where you could come in if you want to learn those skills and then do website design for small business owners, because it is fairly time consuming and you can actually charge a really nice premium for that service because it just saves the business owner so much time. And it's easy to make really beautiful websites on Squarespace. They have the design really nicely done. I've always been very, very happy with my results on theirs. And like I said, I'm not a graphic designer or anything else. So that is something to think about that might be pretty lucrative and takes a fairly small amount of learning how to do the skills involved to use Squarespace design tools. Let's see. Okay, so number 14 is to become a personal trainer or a coach. So this is big. And so if you want to be a personal trainer, if you want to be a coach, help people get fit. I know I've seen a lot of people in affluent circles, they'll even have their own personal trainers that come to their home and work with them a couple of days a week. So you have maybe a smaller client base, but you have very consistent revenue from them. And I'm sure they're charging those folks a lot more to be able to come to their home and train in their home so that you don't have to go to the gym, which is nice. So that's an option there. Number 15 is to start a meal prep business. So maybe you like to cook. A lot of people are super, super busy right now and just do not have the time to cook nutritious, healthy meals. But maybe that's kind of where you could come in and have a meal prep business and deliver prepared meals to your clients. And that could really provide a really great service for them. 16 is tutor students. If you're certain at a good subject, if you're good at a certain subject, offer your services as a tutor. And this is a really interesting one as well, because this is something that you can look into how to do this online through online teaching platforms. So it might not even be tutoring students in your area. It might be tutoring people who are overseas or who are in another country or at least another state. And so that's a really interesting option as well to kind of broaden your reach of your client base. 17 is become a social media manager. This is something that if you're willing to put in the work and learn the skills to become a good social media manager and to help small businesses be able to manage their Instagram profile, their LinkedIn profile, if they're on TikTok, if they're on Twitter, if they're on Facebook. As a small business owner, I've really seen how much of my time gets gobbled up by this little Pac-Man of managing my social media accounts. And while I love it and really enjoy that aspect of it, it can definitely take up a lot of time. And so for very busy small business owners, delegating that task to someone else would probably just be an absolute godsend. I'm sure at some point I'll have to hire a team on just to do a few things for me. And that's high on my list, is to have someone to help me with my social media management. Number 18 is to start a dog walking or pet sitting business. This is definitely a wonderful option, especially if you live in a kind of urban dense area. I think for if you're going to try and do this in an area that's really spread out, where there's maybe a lot of drive time in between clients and you spend more time on the road than you do with the pets, or house, walking the dogs, that could get a little frustrating. But if you're walking dogs in a high rise that's got hundreds of different apartments and you've got tons of clients all right there, that could be a really fantastic option as well. And that's something that is in really high demand too, just because so many people are there with their pets and they don't want to leave them all day while they're at work, or they're traveling and don't want to board them necessarily. And so you can really bring that service in and provide that for them. Where's the rest of my list? We're halfway through, almost halfway through. I know I've got the rest of these somewhere. Here we go. All right, 19 is start a mobile pet grooming business. This is a really good idea too, because for a lot of people, they're busy. They don't want to be bothered with having to drive their pets to the groomer and then pick them back up and have their pets wait at the groomers the whole time. So if you're willing to come to your clients, that can be a really good option as well, is just to be able to have a mobile pet grooming business. The only thing is it kind of does go hand in hand with the prior one about pet sitting and dog walking, where if you're doing this in an area that's super spread out, it might end up being really time consuming and frustrating to have to spend all that time, especially with gas prices being what they are, right? So that could be something though, that if you're in an area where there's more urban density, that works out really, really well and saves you a lot of time driving and provides a valuable service to your clients. Number 20 is to start a cleaning business. You can do this for homes, you can do this for businesses. 21 is offer your services on a company called TaskRabbit. I'll put the link to that in the description as well. But that's basically a site where you can go work as an independent contractor with TaskRabbit, and you can offer your services for handyman services. They had things for like organizing and house cleaning. They had like Christmas light installation, like anything. And people can even go in and say, I have this random job I need done. And then the folks who are working for TaskRabbit can bid on that as well. And so lots of different opportunities there. And if you're handy at something and want to work that way. 22 is become a freelance writer or editor. And this is especially good right now because there are a lot of people who want to publish themselves on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, but they don't know how to do the editing or book formatting part of it. And so that is a really interesting option as well, is to have an editing and publishing agency basically, where you help people who are writing, self-published authors, help them get their work formatted so that it's all set to put out to the world on Amazon. So that's a really cool idea as well. Okay, number 23 is start a landscaping or lawn care business. That can be good if you have a green thumb and want to be able to start a business helping people with their yard work, because that's something that very, very often is one of the first things that people outsource because they just have way less time on their hands than they'd like to. and keeping up with yard work is definitely something that can just get super time consuming. Number 24 is teach music lessons. So maybe you love to sing and you're talented that way. Maybe you play a musical instrument. There are always people out there who are either looking to take lessons themselves or have their children learn how to sing or how to play a musical instrument. So that's a really good option there. And that's something that's nice because you can do it from your home in most cases. So you don't have to pay for a studio unless you really want to rent a studio and have it there. Number 25 is become a real estate agent. So this one's good. This definitely takes a certain amount of work and credentialing to be able to get all the licenses you need to work in real estate. And it's definitely long hours. You're working weekends, you're working nights, you're working all the holidays, and you're working all summer. But the payoff from being a real estate agent can be absolutely phenomenal depending on where you are in the country and what's going on with the housing market. So if you like spending time with people, looking at houses, and don't mind spending a lot of time in the car, because all my realtor friends who I have here definitely spend a lot of time in their cars. Some of them have gotten to the point where they've gotten more selective and they're just working in a certain area of town so that they don't have to be on the road constantly. But that can be a really good idea for you as well. Number 26, start a catering business. That's another good idea, similar to the meal prep business. 27 is to sell baked goods at your local farmers market or anywhere else that you've got a opportunity to do that. If you're super good at baking, that's a fun idea. 28, start a sewing or alteration business. People are always looking to have clothes altered and tailored, so that's a good service. Number 29 is become a personal shopper or stylist. This can be really good for people that just don't have a lot of time on their hands and really need to be able to just have somebody pull outfits for them and pull looks together for them. And so that's a cool idea for that one if you're into fashion and style and good at that. Number 30 is teach fitness classes. And this can be something that you can teach online and have online courses. You can teach in a gym or a studio. You could open your own studio. Then again, there's a certain amount of certification and training needed for this one, but people are always looking for help getting in shape and getting more fit. So that can be a really valuable service as well. Number 31 is to sell products on Etsy or at craft fairs or flea markets. So one thing about Etsy that I've seen is you don't necessarily have to make the item you're selling on Etsy. All you need to do sometimes is just find something really cool, like a vintage item that you could refurbish a little bit, or an antique that's been overlooked at an estate sale, and you come across that and then put together an Etsy storefront that basically has your niche of things that you sell, because there's all kinds of different collectors who shop on Etsy for everything you can possibly imagine. And so that is a kind of fun thing if you like to maybe go to yard sales or flea markets or estate sales and find those treasures. I would say Etsy is like the best way to get your products and items out there to a wider market than you would have just locally. Of course, you have to, ship it and deal with that, which is kind of a bit of a hassle, but it definitely gets you a broader audience base for your products than you would have otherwise. Number 32 is to start a childcare or babysitting business. Again, certifications involved for this, but this is huge. There are so many parents out there who are just trying to find, high quality childcare for their kids. And so look into all the certifications and licenses that you need for that. But even working as a nanny is another thing that you can potentially look into as well. And look into that if that's something that you enjoy working with children. 33 is become a life coach or a business coach. So this is really great because a lot of times maybe you're a really successful small business owner and you've really figured out how to make all of that work and how to run a successful business and the marketing side of it and everything. And you've got all this knowledge. And so you can often offer your services as a consultant and be able to help other people grow their businesses, or with a life coach, be able to help other people work through maybe their stuck points or areas that they have challenges with, and be able to improve their lives that way. Number 35 is to teach a language. So this is really great if you're bilingual, whether you're natively bilingual or you studied languages at some point or lived abroad and have the ability to teach people how to speak another language. That can be absolutely phenomenal. Number 35 is to start a photography business. I would say that up there with real estate, this starting photography business has the potential to be incredibly lucrative as long as you enjoy working with people and don't mind kind of long hours and a lot of time, in this case, with doing a lot of photo shoots and photo editing. Because with photography, there's just so much demand for photography, whether it's family portraits, pet portraits, brand photography. I see a lot of photographers who will just niche down into one specific area and just focus on one aspect that they really, really enjoy. And so that can be a really cool way to build a really resilient business. The nice thing too is that Instagram just completely lends itself to marketing as a photographer. And so that's really nice too. It's really easy to show people what you're doing and to showcase your work that way. Number 36 is to start a bookkeeping business. So if you're good with numbers, you can offer your services to individuals and small business owners as a bookkeeper and be able to help them with that aspect, which I can guarantee you many people will be thrilled to hand that off to you because it's so time consuming. Number 37 is to become a voiceover artist. So this is kind of an interesting option as well, because a lot of companies are looking for people to do voiceovers for commercials or cartoons, or even you could look into being a narrator for books on places like Audible. There's all kinds of things like that. If you have a voice that's really soothing to listen to and really, have one of those voices that's meant for radio or for listening to that just comes across really well, then that's definitely an interesting idea. Number 38 is to sell your clothes on Depop or Poshmark. I'll put links to that in the description. Those are both websites that let you resell your gently loved clothes and be able to find new homes for them. Number 39 is to rent out your special occasion clothes. There's a couple of companies here. By Rotation is in the US, and then Her, Hurr, and My Wardrobe HQ are both in the UK. I'll link to those. So that's an interesting option if you have something like a really beautiful piece of formal wear that's just sitting in your closet and you want to be able to rent that out to someone else, then that's a cool option as well. Number 40 is to start a mobile phone repair business. So that can be an interesting option if you're tech savvy. 41 is to start a recycling service. So you can start collecting recyclable materials and sell them to recycling centers. Number 42 is to become a professional organizer. And I can guarantee you, if you do this, you will probably be in a really interesting niche, because there are so many people who have garages that are just so full of stuff, closets that are full of stuff, attics, storage units, you name it, who are really looking for help to even, maybe older couples who are retiring and downsizing and just need somebody to get them organized. And so that's a really interesting thing. If you're super organized and good at sorting through things and helping people decide what to keep and what to get rid of, that can be an interesting option too. Number 43 is to start a pressure washing business. So there's a couple of enterprising high school students in our neighborhood that are doing this, where their parents have a pressure washer and they'll go and offer their services to pressure wash driveways or things like that, and for a fee. And so that's kind of a cool idea. 44 is to teach art classes. So if you're an artist, or if you do pottery, or you do any kind of other art and are really good at then teaching people how to do that, that can be a really fun service as well, and really rewarding, because you are getting to do what you love and then teach it to other people and enrich their lives that way. Number 46 is to start a pest control business. This requires training and certification. But that's definitely something that any community anywhere in the world is going to have pests that someone has to get rid of. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Number 47 is to start a food truck business. So the town where I live in is famous for its food trucks. In fact, many of our restaurants started as food trucks and then got so popular that they upgraded to becoming a full-up restaurant. And so that is a really interesting thought if you love to cook and have maybe a certain cuisine that you really are great at cooking. And so you can start that out. Now, of course, that requires an upfront investment in a food truck, finding somewhere to park it, and then following all your local health and rules and regulations for doing that. But that can be fun if you're really passionate about cooking. Number 48 is kind of random, but I think also kind of falls in the photography category, is to become a drone instructor. So if you have a drone and you are really good with it and have the licenses with the FAA to be able, or whoever your local aviation administration is, to be able to fly your drones, then you can do a lot of photography with drones that are in real demand with realtors and other places who need aerial photography. And then you can also teach people how to do that as well, because that's a kind of new area of interest. Number 49 is to become an online dating consultant. So maybe you're really good with people, you're really good with helping people navigate relationships and all the ups and downs of new relationships. And so this might be something good for you to do. And then number 50, and my final one, is sell merchandise on Amazon or eBay. And so you can definitely use both of those retailers to sell all kinds of interesting and different things that way. So that is my list of 50 different ways that you can potentially make money with starting a little business or contracting out with some of the services that I mentioned. And I will link to all of that in the description as well, so that you have that. But thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to do a part 2 to this with 50 more ways to make money that will give you some more brainstorming opportunities and ideas. And let me know as well in the comments what you have found that's working for you right now, because definitely as prices continue to rise and inflation has stayed high, one of the best ways that you can take the pressure off yourself and your family is just bring more money in. And I wanted to say thank you to all of my subscribers who are leaving comments. I really appreciated hearing from you this week. And thank you to Namvula. I'm really happy that I pronounced your name right. I had mentioned you in a comment last week, and I was hoping that I got that right. So that's good to hear. Thank you for being here. And I just really appreciate all the comments that you all leave and for continuing to be part of my channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon in my next video.